The MCC agreement with America, Port City given to China, the East Terminal with India, and the Mana oil deposits given to Australia. No matter who is in power, international forces are always at work. Does this mean that the people of Sri Lanka are the only remaining force to protect the resources of our island nation?
Final report of the MCC Review Committee was handed over to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. Issuing a media release, the President's media division said that the final report of the committee appointed to review the MCC agreement found the agreement itself contained many harmful elements. According to the PMD, the Commissioner of Lands had noted that the agreement cannot be implemented in a legal manner. Professor Lalithasiri Gunaruwan was quoted by the PMD to have said, after the adoption of the project as an act of parliament, it would be a violation of the agreement to submit a counter-proposal or a resolution relating to it. The review committee also found that any condition in the agreement can be changed through a letter among two representatives, and Professor Lalithasiri Gunaruwan had added that such a decision was in direct violation of the mandate of Parliament. He pointed out the agreement had created an environment where the Attorney General would not be able to represent the government of Sri Lanka in a court of law. The members of the committee enlightened the President on the current status of the countries which had implemented the MCC. They said the fate of these countries is tragic. The committee report also revealed that two phases of the MCC agreement were signed in 2017 and 2018 during the tenure of the previous government. The report highlighted that although $7.4 million and $2.6 million had been granted under the two stages, no account details are to be found anywhere. The MCC Review Committee drafted the final report based on proposals and consultations conducted with many parties over a period of 6 months. While listening to the views expressed by the members of the committee, the President said that the recommendations of the report should be drawn to the attention of the general public. Professor Lalithasiri Gunaruwan chairs the 4-member MCC Review Committee. The other members are Professor D.S. Jayavira, President's Counsel Nihal Jayawardena, and Architect Nalaka Jayavira.
Millennium Challenge කරපු ලෝකයේ රටවල් හුඟක් තැන්වල
Many countries that signed this MCC agreement saw their property being taken away from them by the United States 2 or 3 years after they had inked this agreement. Jayavir especially looked into this in countries like Honduras and Madagascar. Another interesting trend found by the committee is that the US will initially sign the agreement and start work, but midway they will find a reason to halt this project, citing various reasons such as dictatorship or failure to uphold democracy by the country that is receiving aid. Although the grant is halted, there are conditions in this agreement providing an opportunity for them to stay in the country to protect their interests. So what has happened in Honduras and Madagascar is that although the lands were given, not even 25% of the money had come into the country, because they have suspended the grant and there is no way of sending them out of the country as well. They have very strategically included these conditions in this agreement and weaved it into the agreement like a ball of thread. The agreement states, you sign it and we will come in, but we won't leave. This is a grant, this is not a loan. So in a country like ours with limited resources, one could say, why aren't you taking this grant for essential development of infrastructure? But in this case, the key of the house that we build with this grant must be given to them. That is the condition. So if we give them the key to the house, that means we no longer own the house. We cannot agree to that. They have included the list of conditions in this agreement to create such a situation.
ආධාරයත් එක්ක හදන ගෙදර දොරේ අතුර අපි යාට දෙන්න ඕන. ඒකයි කොන්දේසි. ඉතින් දොරේ අතුර දුන්නයි කියන්නේ ගේ අපිට අයිති නෑ කියන එක.
Contradictory views regarding the MCC agreement are being expressed by members of the ruling faction. At the cabinet media briefing today, the joint cabinet spokesperson reassured that the MCC agreement will not be signed.
රමේෂ් පතිරණ මහත්මයා මීට පෙර ප්‍රකාශයක් කරා.
Minister Ramesh Patirana previously made a statement regarding the MCC agreement when only the interim report from the committee headed by Lalithasiri Gunaruwan was presented. But yesterday the final report was also presented. Has there been a change? Are you still of the stance that the MCC agreement will not be signed?
ඔබතුමාලා ඉන්නේ මේක අසංකාරණයම නෑ කියන මතයද?
There were two main points in the interim report. It highlighted that some of the provisions in the agreement are contrary to the constitution of the country and that approval from relevant institutions had not been sought for some of the clauses in the agreement to be implemented. Therefore, the government is of the clear stance that we will not ink any agreement that is contrary to the constitution of the country, no matter what benefits it might bring to the country. We will explain about the content of the final report and about the recommendations in the report. The government will conduct all of this with transparency.
ජනතාවට දැනුම් දීලා තමයි ආණ්ඩුව සියලු දේ කරන්නේ.
MCC කිමුතු සම්බන්ධයෙන්ම ඔබතුමාලා කලින් කිව්වේ අතුරු වාර්තාවේ නිර්දේශිත අනුව කිසිසේත් මේක අසන්තබන් නැහැ කියලා. දැන් මේ ප්‍රකාශය යම් වෙනසක් වෙලා තියෙනවද කියලා දැනගන්න කැමතියි.
ඒක සාමූහික ප්‍රකාශයක්. එතුමාගේ ප්‍රකාශය මම ස්ථිර කරන එක අත්සන් කෙරෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔබතුමාට විශ්වාස නැද්ද?
ඔබතුමා සභාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරු ලෙස නෑ මං කිව්වා ආයි නැවතත් අර නිර්දේශ සලකා බලනවා කියපු නිසා
කෙරෙන්නේ නැහැ කොහොමද? දැන් නැවත මමත් ප්‍රකාශ කළා.
However, Minister Vimal Veerawangsha spoke of the MCC agreement with a word of caution.
රටේ ඉඩම් ඇමරිකානු උවමනාවන්ට අනුව සිතියම් ගත කරලා ඒ ඉඩම්
The agreement is one where the lands in Sri Lanka can be mapped according to the needs of the Americans and allow them for the creation of an economic corridor according to what they want and also give them the opportunity to surpass the legislature and the judiciary of the country. The name of the agreement is not important. Even if the name of the MCC is changed to MC, I wouldn't stay a day within a government that signs the agreement. Do not have any doubt about that.
නෙවෙයි ඕන ප්ලාසා එකක CC නමින් ආවත් එන ගිවිසුමක් තියෙන ආණ්ඩුවක නම් මම නම් දවසක්වත් ගත කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක පිළිබඳ කිසි අවිශ්වාසයක් තියාගන්න එපා.
However, Kehelia Rambukvalla, speaking in Kandy today, expressed these views.
MCC කියලා කියන්නේ නාමයක්. අපිට තියෙන
MCC is just a name. We are concerned with the content of the agreement. There is a chance that the content of the agreement has changed since it first came in and now because we exerted so much pressure. Also, if we are dealing at a diplomatic level, we need to keep these dealings strictly diplomatic. Sajith Premadasa was the person who said that if the agreement is brought in parliament, it will be torn up and disposed of. And some of our party members too would have said it on stage, but that does not mean that the agreement would literally be torn into pieces. It means that they are willing to change the content, and if the content of the agreement is on the contrary to the provisions of our constitution, and if we look into the matter, there is nothing wrong with that.
ඒ සම්බන්ධව අපි යම්කිසි විදිහේ විශ්ලේෂණයක් කරොත් එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයා බලුවොත් ඒකේ වරදක් නැහැ.
Vimal Veerawangsha continuously adopted a patriotic stance regarding the MCC agreement. The people of this country respect the stance that he continues to hold. However, the people are watching as to whether the minister will continue to uphold his stance against signing the MCC agreement.